Welcome, Discord community. Welcome to the interview of Matt and Fred.
We talked about in the channels recently. The devs are busy working on the Hive 1.2. That's got some cool features to address some issues we have had recently. And also with the proof of play issue with the ring at the moment. So there's quite a few, I would say, improvements coming in the next few weeks.
That's fantastic. Thank you. It's always nice to hear about new stuff coming up. So yeah, a few questions for you as we get going here. I mean, first off, where are you from, and how did you come to LCC, to LitecoinCash? Excuse me, that'll never.
Well, I'm originally from Ireland. I was born in Dublin, but I'm an engineer in the aviation space, in the aerospace industry. So I've moved away from Dublin many years ago. I would consider myself probably the senior statesman here. I'm 52 years of age. So I've been in the aviation industry for 35 years, and I'm now currently living and working in Hamburg, Germany. I have been here for the last 10 years, specializing in the production of new aircraft, testing, inspecting, and delivery of new aircraft. So currently I'm in Hamburg, Germany.
That's fantastic. So inspecting, delivering new aircraft, that it seems a world away from cryptocurrency. How did you come to crypto?
Well, I guess I'm interested to start, or to say, with new technology and innovative technology. I've always taken a keen interest in this field, both as just out of my own interest and also as an investor. But I guess going back probably since the global financial crisis of 2008, I've taken a keen interest in cryptocurrency, at least as a minimum of how it will play a part in our future, or as a minimum, at least as an alternative to mainstream financial structures, which I am quite critical of, I would say, because I believe we have not learned lessons from the past, and I do feel that cryptocurrency holds a place in the future. I'm particularly of interest in technology that cryptocurrency is based upon, the blockchain, and its potential disruptive influence with industry globally in the future.
Excellent. And I hear a lot of that. That definitely dovetails with a lot of my interests as well. How did you find LitecoinCash? How did you come to that?
Well, I've been trying to educate myself on the meaning of technology. It's a completely new space for me, I have to say. So for the last 3 years, I've been trying to educate myself in this new field. And when I dipped my toe early into the space, I had some very negative experiences with some projects, ICOs, etc. I guess like a lot of people, the space is quite user unfriendly, I would say. And a lot of projects I saw with massive marketing budgets, etc., promised the earth but rarely delivered anything. Once the hype died down and they became live, etc. And I was on one project where there was a senior member of the LCC, which was very new, just recently after the fork, on the same community group that I was on, an ICO project. It doesn't matter what the name was. And I was quite critical once the project became live. It pretty much seemed like the team or the people behind it abandoned the project very quickly after initial launch. So basically, the story is I was critical in the channels, and I actually got banned from the channels for asking very simple questions.
You got banned from the channel?
Yeah, I got banned from the channel. It turned out to be a lot of bullshit, to be honest. But anyway, one of the senior members of LCC at the time was also on the channel and invited me to come to our group in Telegram. So I just started posting there and just trying to, I realized very quickly that this was a dangerous space, a very early technology. People could easily get burned. So I was just talking about people to be aware and not to have unrealistic expectations, etc. And I started posting in LCC just as a normal community member. And within a few months, they invited me to become an admin in the channel. And that quite surprised me because I had very limited knowledge about the technical background, particularly of cryptocurrency and blockchain. But I could bring a lot of my experience of the past into the group. So they invited me to become admin. Shortly after that, I got invited to become a moderator with the group. But one thing I did notice as soon as I joined LCC was it had a spark. I felt it had something for everybody, even for me when I was just joining initially. Everything was new to me, and no question was, I would say, a stupid question. It was respectful. People were there to help. And I really liked the community. It didn't matter if you wished to come as just to hang out with people and learn, or if you wished to contribute or collaborate, or if you're an investor, or any motivation you had, people were welcomed here. And I felt very welcomed and very quickly became part of the group. And I haven't looked back. It's been 2 years almost. Since I've joined, and this is now part of my life. I love the project, love the community, and I think it's got something for everybody. It's got a real spark and a real magic, and we're here for everybody. Everybody can help each other and be part of it also.
I would agree. Thank you for that. That's I've had, I should say, a similar experience in that I entered the community early. I can't say my background is real estate, so I don't have a lot of experience in blockchain. But I remember you coming into the program, and I remember you being. I like that you call yourself a senior statesman, because I would second that. I'm 48, so I'm not much farther behind you, but I'm there. So yeah, you talk about the community, and that's something I'd hope we could talk about today. Is, clearly the community, or I should say, the devs are open to people rising up and saying, "Hey, I want to be part of this." We had, Rab last week, who talked about how he, came to the project and then developed Hive, the Hive pool, and has continued to develop that, and very quickly taken in, and so maybe discussion looking for from the community. What kind of voices are we looking for? What kind of participation are we looking for?
Well, that's an interesting question. Very quickly, when I joined this project, I was pretty much in awe of the team itself, their knowledge, their dedication, and their will to continue to develop, I should say. That's the first thing. But with the community, the technology that we are building at the moment, or evolving and developing, I consider to be the foundation of this project. But I consider, irrespective of how good the technology is, how innovative, how awesome, which I know it is, most people would agree, but it's not much without the community, who I feel are the backbone of this project and key to its future success. Now, often as the team, particularly the core team, as we're getting more advanced, developing more projects, I won't say it's forgotten, but I have certainly for me been reminded of how important this is recently, since everybody's going through their own individual challenges with coronavirus and staying at home, etc. But when we had some issues recently on the blockchain and the community were calling out for some action, I really and feeling of how meant to the community, and it sort of reinforced my initial beliefs when I came here first. The community are the backbone of this project, and if we can grow the community or somehow get the message across to people that they are every bit as part of this project, as a member of the core team, our moderators, our ambassadors, I guess that's the challenge for us, for everyone to stand up and feel that they can be part of something growing and innovative. It's as much any community members project as it is for anybody in the senior positions of LCC. I would also like to add here that there's also an avenue within our community for people. For example, it doesn't matter if you're an investor, you can come here. If you have very limited means, speak to people from all over the world, often South America, and, Venezuela, of course, and Mexico, and North America, Europe, Eastern Europe, Russia, Africa, Asia. And it doesn't matter what means you have. If you're an investor or just want to simply hang out, you can contribute by helping people with your experiences, earn experience points, the sharing of LCC within the community, collecting LCC.
Faster, easier. Video Maker by Designs.ai.
Really to feel or to try, sorry, lost you, to try to feel part of this project as their own, and to stand up and contribute in any way that they could, meaning simply if they have Twitter accounts that they could, you know, like, retweet, comment, everything helps. Or if they wish to become more involved, there's avenues for progression to start with an ambassador. Our honeybees also are just a little step further for ambassadors to wish to contribute to projects if they have ideas, etc. We encourage ideas for people to collaborate, etc. If they wish to go further and become part of the decision makers or influencers in this project, there's avenues there. It's basically open to anybody, whatever they wish. But if you could just imagine if 100 people were contributing 1 hour or 2 hours per week, well, that's a huge help.
Absolutely, and you've said a lot there. And I thought maybe you know, we could break that up bit by bit. So, and this is just the way my mind works. Is first off, sorry, radio turned on for some reason. You know, we want people to be involved, want people to start contributing. If someone has an idea, where should they present that idea first? And I should say a collaboration idea.
Well, that's interesting because we have spent a lot of time working, particularly on the core team, to establish a charter and a system to be put in place to be able to facilitate collaborations or ideas, or people willing to do so. However, we need to take it now to the next step. There is a charter in place for people to be working in cells, etc. But what we intend to do, what I intend to do, is to establish a project board initially for the senior members to become involved, to manage the ideas. Firstly, to collect them all in one place. I'm working on that at the moment. And I guess to collect ideas in the channels, etc., that can be firstly taken and transferred into the project board, but also is to get the message out for people that the point is that there's not much coming in at the moment. We have the basis established, but I guess it's a matter of getting the message out for people to think in this way. But that's a matter of also people willing to step up and become involved in it. So the charter is evolving, and I've taken some points recently with initiatives from the mod team, moderators team, even this initiative, which is fantastic. So this is evolving, Matt, but there is a charter in place to cater for this.
That's great. We look forward to seeing that charter there. You know, as I've watched the project evolve, you know, that you're probably, I can't remember, there was your predecessor and maybe whoever that person replaced. We've seen a few people, without naming names, come in and out of the project. In what way does one run afoul of the devs, or maybe what kind of collaboration is not welcome, to try to kind of get a sense of what we can do here? Because I think someone like a Rab, you know, coming in and just developing this amazing thing that's unusual, and someone like me wouldn't begin to know where to begin there, and so my first thought is, well, what is out of bounds, and then maybe get a better sense of what's in bounds.
Okay, so here's the thing. To go one step further, what I just said there, I'm responsible for business development within the project. Currently, we are, with help from a couple of the other core members, since we have established Ring, for example, we're working to customize a sustainable business plan that will cover the project for the next 5 years. So as part of that and part of the marketing to encourage ideas, we need to have, for example, some key positions that will be working on this project full time. And this is part of the plan, Matt. So basically, developers that are working full time on the project, marketing people, whether it's social media manager, etc., in place to have finance put here to sustain the project for the next at least 5 years. I can't elaborate further on at the moment because it's still in the final stages of completion. But the point would be, we don't really regard any ideas as out of bounds or anything like that. All ideas are welcomed. They will be put on our project board and assessed on their merits, what it can bring particularly to this project and the platforms that have been developed already. And for example, if we had developers that are working full-time, we're all volunteers at the moment, so because we've developed the Ring, we have really a lot of potential to grow very, very quickly with some funds in place, etc. But basically, no ideas are out of bounds, to be honest. It would just depend upon how it would suit the projects going forward, and how they could improve the platforms and technology that's already existing. That's the first thing I could say.
That's very helpful. Fred's back. I'll let you
Sorry, I think I lost you for a minute.
If you want to go ahead and continue, you'd talked about the first thing you'd said there was just, we've got to establish some full-time.
Oh, sorry. I I must have lost connection. Yeah, basically, the intent is to establish, I don't know if you heard me, a business plan to sustain the project for the next 5 years. That will include some key full-time positions. And with the charter that's established to cater for the growth, no ideas are not welcome, they're all encouraged. We would have to establish their merits or how they could contribute basically to the add technology-wise or improvements to the current project or use cases, and taken individually on its merits. Firstly, to be captured, assessed, assigned, have a project manager working with it, and we take it from there. And also, very importantly, to have the funding in place.
Got it. So if I understand this correctly, and I'm kind of putting this together myself as we go along, and one of my my impetus to put this chat together was to understand the project better. I myself was very caught up in the whole, when's the price going to go up? Why is the price always going down? And at a certain point, I think it was Rab who brought it to the group's attention here. Is we need to talk about what the project itself is doing and how we can contribute to the project, and that's what you're talking about. And I hope is these chats. One idea I'd had here is maybe to have the community. I don't know if I can get direct messages or to just message me or Rab, and questions or topics you'd like us to cover. We can start to explore this and get a better sense of what it is that we have here and how we as a community can make it grow. But I gotta say, the one highly encouraging thing I hear is that this is a project truly from the ground up. It started with technology, and as they've put the technology together, now we're looking at turning this into a business. But what a much better to go this route than, again, as you mentioned, these ICOs and just the bullshit that's out there that doesn't really go anywhere because it doesn't have anything substantial behind it. This has something substantial, and now we're raising it up. Did I get that right?
That's 100% correct, man. You see, the thing is, there's so many projects that will appear to have more interest or more community interest simply due to having large marketing budgets. It's very, very simple, but there's often very little behind it. And if one was to take an analysis or a review of the top 10, even the top 20, sometimes even the top 5 projects, development and creating, firstly, technology as a foundation for the project's sustainability is the first thing. That's the first thing. Building community is the second. But the third thing is, eventually, when you get to the point that you think that you could grow the project exponentially to the next level, funding needs to be in place. To have marketing and to have established key positions that are remunerated for a period of time, etc., to facilitate this. So yes, you are right to say this. This project is being built from the ground up. It's been built, we don't have artificial. When you see often activities within markets, it brings some sort of an artificial, it's a debate sometimes when you look at activity within markets, a debate against inactivity and people's interests. For example, with LCC, often the price can slide, but it can slide by simple low volume trades. But I think if it's interested in investing in this project, this is not investment advice, by the way. We are here for the long term, certainly planning long term, both tech wise and structure wise. And yeah, we hope to be most certainly standing shell projects. There's no reason why we can't, with certain established procedures and
So the last thing I caught there was the certain established procedures. Um, and the incipient community phase. Now we're looking for funding. What are productive conversations for this group, for this community to have? You know, certainly you're always going to have people, you know, talking about what's wrong with the project, this or that feature isn't working, and you know, it's quality control, and that's going to be ongoing and constant. Certainly, we look at price, but what are other good conversations to have in terms of, you know, what the tech actually is, how it gets widespread adoption, how it's used day to day. Those are questions I have with zero technical ability to understand how that would happen and how I could make that happen, but it's something that I would like to see happen. Who should I be talking?
Well, you see, the thing is, we have evolved pretty much, firstly, out of necessity to survive, listed into a very tough crypto market. And as a result of low market cap projects, we were hit by 51%, meaning some very good momentum, etc. As a result of being hit by 51 18 months ago, we had to seriously think about our future and how we could protect this project moving forward. If you don't have a secure network, you really don't have anything. There's no point in thinking about managing and securing people's assets if you're open to attack. So the devs went away, got together, locked themselves in the cave, and came up with the Hive technology. That was the first big innovative tech that was released. Now, as with all new tech,
If I could just interrupt you right there, when I saw that happen, that was the first time I thought, okay, this thing's legit, because that was brilliant, unexpected, and it gave me confidence in their ability to roll with punches in a way I'd never.
you know, to speak very honestly, that's quite correct, and very openly, we've had many on the way simply to survive, excluding budget, etc. This project has been done by hard work. Often, I know that we're criticized sometimes by not being active, but I would just like to say before I continue with talking about that the team are often working on documents, procedures, technology, improvements, that time, you know. But since we developed the Hive, running parallel to the proof of work algorithm with the LCC, we realized that the Hive had a real potential to play a big development and our future. It's technology, and it's still very, very, very new. So, for example, then we say, well, we want to introduce, and this is to answer your question, to introduce the Hive technology to a global audience, but also to make the technology available for everybody, very simply to use. So, for example, people, since we've developed the ring, is there on the platform. The new proof of work algorithm, Minotaur, you can simply download the platform, connect your CPU, and the proof of play that's been implemented. These are entered now, ready and live. Now it's new, so there's no question about that. We know that, and improvements are continually being worked on in the background. But you don't issues are going to develop until the platform becomes live and available for use. So what's going to make this interesting for everybody? Well, it's simple. You can go to the website. You can download the platform. If you wish to have a go and simply connect cores of your CPU, you can. We have the ability, the proof of play series part of securing the network. one of 3 methods on this new platform. The proof of play is no gimmick. People can come, as I say, bases as a LCC with nothing and play games, earn rewards, entertain themselves. And also what's going to link this together, as we realized quite a while ago, and as I mentioned earlier, with regard to the community and its future, the Rialto has a potential linked with all of the other features of the Ring to have an encrypted chat platform from directly within the platform. So also with the technology that's developed that can be cross-implemented to improve the LCC network. So both projects are running side by side and will be managed, as I mentioned earlier, under the umbrella of a business structure that will be put in place to take these projects into the future. And we aim these projects to be simple to use, have a go at mining, learn about crypto, something for everybody.
That's great. And I know that as I've, been reading in essentially channels and just general crypto things, ease of use is huge. And you'd mentioned at the beginning of the chat, crypto is notoriously user unfriendly. And yeah, this is a huge step forward to make it very easy plug and play. As we kind of look forward, to next week's chat, do you know whether anyone on the development team would be available to sit down and maybe field questions from the community? Whether these questions are gathered during the week or, can be done real time.
Well, most certainly, I can put that to the core team. If someone is available, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to step in. I do believe that we should keep this going. This has just started now for the 2nd week, and it's a great way to stay connected from the core team to the community. So I would suggest that if thing here, or we can make comment in the channels if people have questions that they can be answered. The developers are not available. I can certainly post it for comment and present it myself, or if anybody else is available. But I would like to keep this going. I just can't guarantee that the team will be available next week. Maybe they will, but I can certainly take the questions and give you guys some answers.
Well, let's do that, because yeah, we are very young in this, and as I understand it, it's just an ungodly hour at other parts of the world right now. So if during the week anyone listening here wants to direct questions at me, I'll collect these questions, Fred, and I'll just I'll send whatever questions I have to you. I'll aggregate them and get them to you about midweek. And then whatever answers you can get from the dev team, if we get someone, awesome. If not, maybe we can at least get the questions answered. And then Rab and I can have a conversation about it. Is that a pretty good plan?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. That's no problem. No problem at all. Be happy to forward those questions and present them next week if no one from the dev team is available.
Matthew, I don't know if you see the general chat, but we have a question from Negative IO. It's pretty long, so I don't know. Can you read it?
It's in.
Woohoo! Somebody fall off the planet.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. I didn't know how I could look at channel and talk, or at the general channel, but I figured it out. I am obviously not the sharpest tech tool in the drawer. So Negative Ion questions. I like the decentralized approach, but how do we organize the team business? That's one question. And it sounds like, Fred, we'll just take these one at a time, Negative Ion, if that's all right. That's what you're talking about with the charter that is being put in place. Is that correct?
Well, firstly, we have a customized business plan that's almost ready That's almost complete. That's the first to have a definitive plan how we're going to move forward. The developed is a charter designed to facilitate selling within the community from the senior team, core team members, moderators, etc., that will be able to work in cells funded to be able to capture and if they have potential to be able to take them through to development and completion. Here, firstly, the business plan. That's necessary, completely necessary to for the sustainable future. But the charter will be designed, has been designed actually, to be able to have a structure in place to be able for the growth that we anticipate will come. Does that answer the question?
I believe it does for me, and Negative Ion, if you want to post in, oh, he says yes, so good. So we'll go to the next question. Fred, this is you, also mentioned funding. Is or are there private interests willing to do so? Or do we all chip in volunteer our time? If I could just add one part to that question, Negative Ion, and then I'll turn the time over to Fred. And then that would be, many of us have invested in the project by buying LCC, but you're talking, Fred, a different kind of investment, a direct investment into the business that will own the ring and the LCC. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. I can't go into the specifics of funding, that's for sure. However, rest assured, there's a provision with the development of the ring for an interested party if they should become available or interested, which we anticipate will be the case. Now, certain things have to happen before that can that we can be in position to comfortably sit in front of a potential backer or whatever, which we certainly are working towards and feel that it's completely possible. I can't go into the specifics of funding, but there is leverage in place there to facilitate this should an interested party wish to take a keen interest, not just supported, that's the point, not just supported with an injection of capital, but with the supported expertise that these individual people or party can bring to the project.
Good. So what I hear you there is that you're being not just an investor, someone bringing funds in, but someone also with a specialty, or as you say, bringing something to the project, not just funds, but expertise.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the thing. Without business development, I speak to many people every single day. And there's been interested parties before who would simply request a simple OTC trade. Well, that doesn't really do us any good because, yeah, okay, it may bring in some limited funds possibly, but our only real income at the moment is from community fund contributions from both projects. And while the price is low at the moment, it doesn't really place. However, I will say that a simple OTC trade is not really interesting because we're designing and planning and working toward somebody that will come to this project that will offer all different types of expertise, contacts, and everything. So if we do find what I'm certainly looking for, find an interested party, it's only a matter of time as long as we continue to develop and grow. It will be somebody that's bringing more than just simply funds to the table.
That makes good sense. I was going to say, so that makes good sense that we have someone that can bring expertise and funds. And so looping back to the question, where we're saying Are there private interests willing to do so? Do we all chip in and volunteer our time? It sounds like the answer is yes, and that with the customized business plan and the charter, as those come into place, and it's not like it happens overnight, but it sounds like it's happening soon, that it sounds like will give direction to the community of how we can then help spread the project into the world. Is that right?
Yeah, you see, the thing is, that's quite true. We've often had comments, observations, criticisms by not having large marketing plans in place. Well, feedback here that even if there was funds for marketing, it has to be targeted specifically. Or even if we have, we simply don't launch marketing campaigns. But the technology that we're developing is innovative. And when there's certain things in place, for example, that's being worked on at the moment, we will be in a position with people. And we're getting there. We're there step by step. So it's a matter now, I guess, to take this direction, as you've mentioned one or two times, and also Raptide has mentioned last week, to a more structured way. And I'm working on that. I will invite some senior members to join to take an overview of this this direction. That will happen this week. And we can start from there. We can start certainly getting the message out within ourselves.
That's great. I guess if I had to conceptualize this, then the new Hive that's and from the start of this project, we've talked about a good community, and by that I take it to be non-toxic. It is an accepting community. It seems genuinely genuine. Not that last.
Fred, your microphone, no, your headphones are off. Okay, looks like he dropped off from the planet and visiting Mars.
Hello, can you hear me? Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
dropped
you're
off for a
back
minute.
from Mars. I'll just finish my thought just real quick. And maybe this kind of gets to Negative Ion's general question, which is, who's going to lead, who's going to organize, who's going to manage. We, the community, are the Hive, right? And this charter and business plan become our organizing principle. So it sounds like these questions will be answered shortly, like in weeks to a month or so. Is that right?
Sorry, Matt, I think I lost the connection there for a minute. Could you repeat that last question? My apologies.
Yeah, no problem at all. It sounds like with the business plan, the customized business plan and the charter, that's organizing the community into a hive, right? A hive pool of its own kind. That these questions of who will lead, how do we engage specifically, it's going to answer that so that we can effectively engage as a community hive. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, as an organic project, it's up to the community. I guess, as I mentioned earlier in the interview, that people have to step up, I guess. You can't force people to step up. That's the first thing. Now that we're seeing recently a lot of people stepping up and willing to collaborate, the charter is in a few specific details to organize as a board, and some people to come in willing to collect the ideas. Not much is, as I said, the charter is in place. So yeah, and then we can motivate the community. I've already written an article about a year ago, as I mentioned, invitation to collaborate. It is at the so not much really needs to happen, I would say, but I think it's important for me, the core team, senior members, to recognize or to see that they are part of this project. I mean, we're so new. I mean, how many times in one's life do you get a chance to be part of something that's growing right from the beginning? That's the way I saw this, no matter what my experience is. So if we can get that message out to people to feel part of it, well, then automatically they're going to step up to contribute. And as I said, within the next be moderators for people willing to, and also the senior rank. So if people are willing to stand up and get into this project group and the information, and I'm working upon it.
Awesome. I really appreciate your time here, Fred. I know we're coming up on the end. I'm sure it's like 1 or 2 in the morning where you are. So you have done so much for the community. I appreciate it. And going to chat. I thought I'd finish up. Negative Ion had one last question, and it's a bit of a shift from where we were before. And just say what you can. But with the 2 projects, the concern is that not by focusing on 2 instead of 1, we lose focus and dilute the efforts. How are the 2 projects complementary?
So that's a question, a very good question, a very interesting question, and one that I've seen often in the Telegram groups and in the channels. Firstly, I want to say sincerely that LCC is going nowhere. LCC is the brand. It's where we started. Ring is brought to the world, to the global audience by LCC and the team at LCC. So, how do they complement each other? Well, LCC with the proof of work algorithm, Bitcoin requiring specialized equipment, etc., will have its need. As long as Bitcoin is in existence, LCC will be also. As I said, we're not going anywhere. That's the first thing. Hive is running in parallel, so it's very stable. Okay, we've had issues recently with block stalls, etc. That's been worked on, but generally speaking, it's innovative tech. It's been there for a while and has the potential, of course, as anything that any other cryptocurrency chain project can have. Use cases, methods of payment, etc., etc. That's the first thing. Ring is taking it a step further because I won't say LCC has limitations, but with the technology of Hive, it was an opportunity to go a step further. A step further to, with this integrated, with the other features, and of course, the Rialto all-in-one platform. The tech, for example, Rialto will be cross-implemented. Project, I mean, the popularity of Ring becomes popular due to those features. Naturally elect upon LCC. And tech that's already being developed, as mentioned and updated on the recent roadmap, will be will be put on LCC also. So the questions where LCC is going. What I want to say here again, as part of, I'd love to be honest, but there is a plan in place to have specific people managing both projects ranks.
Perfect. So it sounds like, yeah, and
now,
thank you
that
for
means everyday activity. At the moment, it's a bit difficult because we're limited and we're still improving, etc., and it's still new. But for example, the plan to have projects, project coordinator, moderators, each looking after each project. We want to expand the community globally, etc. I think I may be talking a little too much about the business plan, but there is a structure that's designed and will be in place to manage the activities of both projects.
May I interrupt? I mean, you don't talk too much about a business plan because everybody wants to hear about a business plan. And my personal question is, when will be Ring getting any value? Means going to some exchanges or some definition of value in the common world?
Damn, I think I had some connection problems again.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
Devon,
yeah,
could you?
yeah. Your headphones are always showing off, or I mean, the symbol. Now, my question is, when will be Ring be of any value? I mean, not real value, but commercial value, like exchanges, or how much euro, how much dollar, how much yen, how much anything.
Well, there's a reason why Ring is not listed yet on exchanges. Specifically, I can't go into details, but as I said, part of the plan is to have a significant of interested parties to discuss. While it's not listed, you can't put a price on it because the price is speculative. But we want certain things in place, as I mentioned, like the tech, and some things have to be finalized tech-wise, etc. And when it's, I mean, for example, it's tough at the moment in the space. I know Bitcoin is coming around to a nice run, but the timing of listing Ring.
It's just a shoulder head, shoulder formation, believe me.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to struggle with these questions, but there's a lot of specifics I can't really go into detail, except the fact that the timing of the Ring and its listing on its initial exchange. I'm sorry I can't go into specific details about this, but there's a reason for that.
Okie dokie. Do we have some further general questions from the community? Everybody's listening. I really applaud to all the people who are listening. I mean, these are even fucking more than last week. Awesome, friends.
I don't have any question, but I want to add something.
Go on, Reptile.
First,
Are you there?
I wanted to add something what Fred said. This is a community-based project, so anyone is welcome to like organize something. Like he's doing all the giveaway. I mean, nobody asked him to, hey, you need to do giveaway. He just like that was his idea, and he started doing it, and it's been pretty good. So people like if you have some ideas, if you want to do something for the community, if you want to do something for the project, don't be shy. I mean, bring your ideas. You can DM any mod or anyone. Like you can just put your idea in a general chat, or I mean, there's different ways. There's a lot of different ways you can help the community or help the project. I mean, articles. You can write articles. I mean, you can write articles, Medium, Twitter articles. You make something. People love reading, or YouTube videos. Make tutorials. Like, how to how to hive mine, or like how to mine how to play games, like pop games, like from Ring, how to play those games. What are the strategies? I mean, they're like hundreds of ways
I
you can
mean,
help.
sorry to interrupt, Reptile, but how to hive mine? It would be a great idea to make a video, but you are the most precious guy who knows everything about it. So I would love to see a video from you.
I mean, okay, I've been here with I've been with the project for a long time, and you know, I don't know how many times I read the white paper. I don't know how many times I did all the calculation on those formulas and white paper, and I agree with you. But like Euros been doing a lot of videos. Like the thing is like, okay, I know a lot about high mining projects, but I don't want to be just one guy who knows everything. I want someone to step up. Let's say you step up, and if you need help, hey Rab, I need, I don't understand. Okay, I don't understand this. How
I get it. I get it. You mean, yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. So it's like if I start hive mining, uh, I show a video how to start it from scratch, like from the beginners basis, all the basics, and yeah, and if I have some question, I get to you.
yeah, exactly, because it shouldn't be just one guy doing. I mean, they're like a team. They know a lot. I mean, I literally know a lot about LCC and Ring because I've been involved with projects, both of them, and I read a lot. I do all of my research in the internet. I know a lot, but if someone comes to me and asks me anything, I'm more than happy to help them. You know, because I know everything, but it's all about decentralized. I know everything, but I want to share my knowledge. And I want to make 10 people. We have 10 people who knows everything.
I know nothing. I mean, no, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah, because like for me, I'm just a user in this kind of way. So I know if you too involved into something, you overstep or overfly something which is certainly clear for you, but not clear for the end user. I know that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not asking you to be like, hey, from tomorrow on or like right now,
Yeah, I've just lost Rob there for the moment, but I get where he's going. I will start another channel, set up another channel last week, firstly to collect the ideas. That's the first thing.
yeah, we need to collect ideas. Like Devil, you're good at Twitch, right? You can show your skills on Twitch, and you can help people. Like, what about you do a live streaming of how to, you know, start a hive mining on wallet, like LCC wallet. Let's say that could be a Twitch streaming, and people like who doesn't know because marketing. I told Nick just like 1 hour ago, marketing never should stop. It's always marketing because there are going to be new people every day. There are going to be new people on LCC and Ring project who doesn't know anything. So you could create any kind of video. You could create any kind of article. You can literally just you can even do like a Twitter threads. Like hey, how to start mining with LCC. Okay, that could be a good article. There are going to be a lot of people. Would be interested to just read that or watch the video. So I mean, I literally think like you don't have to be a developer. You don't have to know how to code. Help come in a different ways.
I get you. I get you.
I hope you're writing down all these ideas, Rob.
I'm
I
writing them
mean,
down as well. This is
I
Right,
got
so
some I got some brain cells left for But for example, Twitch is not a good idea because Twitch is deleting the videos after, I don't know, a month or two. So probably YouTube is better. Even I don't like Google. I have to admit.
Well, let's agree anyway that I will set up a channel to collect these ideas. People can discuss these ideas in the channel. And then, as I said, I'm just about to finish the project board. I will post in the senior channels for people to step up if they want to become part of the board. We get that structure in place. That can happen in the next days.
Yeah, I
so
mean,
there's
like,
been
if
talk.
you have ideas, don't be shy. Just, spit it out. Any ideas, any ideas are welcome. Like, just, we are here. Nobody is getting paid for anything, right? Even like, developers and teams,
Thanks,
they're
Rob.
not
I
getting
agree.
paid anything. They're not getting paid anything. They're just using their own out of money.
Does
I have a
anybody
full-time
have
job.
any more questions
I have a
in
full-time
regard
job.
to
I have
business development or anything
like,
I've talked about tonight that needs clarification?
So it's a community-based project. Everybody should be involved. Doesn't matter how big is your help. Doesn't matter how small is your help. Help is help, and we are just trying. The only thing we are trying to do is supporting the project and promoting it because it's a long-term project. We have awesome technology, like we have a Hive. Those are. I mean, what else do you need to sell the project, right? What else do you need to sell the project? We have Hive that we have never seen before, and we have
Sorry, that was me because we lost groove because we were sending too long.
Well, I think we're wrapping up our chat. We can carry it on next Friday, same channel. Fred, Rab, Devil, it's been awesome. Thank you so much.
Very welcome, guys. If there's anything that I can clarify further, please post it in general. And once again, thanks for organizing this, guys. This has really, really been great. And I'm very happy to be here. And yeah, looking forward to interesting times and a nice future growing this project. Thanks very much, guys, for the support. Also appreciate it.
Okie dokie. Stay awesome, stay safe, and stay listening.